Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GameStar TV for the Blizzard ANZ Heroes of the Storm Season 2 qualifiers. When I go to Christchurch, I'm paying you a visit, Chris. That was good. You got me good. Welcome back to GameStar, because if you have just joined us, we have had 4 rounds of Heroes of the Storm. We had the Leighton Hewitt Fan Club versus Trump Sports, with the Trump Sports picking up the win. Then we went to Battlefield of Eternity for City Walk and Onyx United, with City Walk picking up the win. And then P5 and Nomiya went head-to-head on Sky Temple, with the champs Nomiya picking up a win. And then Tomb of the Spider Queen for Techno Wolves and the Bird Punchers, with the Bird Punchers picking Cho'Gall and coming out with the win. And actually the MVP nomination as well. Well done to Holy Grail and Charlotte. First time I've actually given 2 in the one game, I believe. Now, the Heroes of the Storm 2.0 is just around the corner, so there's a lot of changes coming to the game, including the addition of things like loot boxes, which I really can't wait for, and I'm sure Blizzard can't wait for as well, to get their hands on the amount of money that will come in from hoarders like me. So it's already getting a lot of attention, so if you want more information on that, check out the Blizzard website or their Twitter. And we are giving away the Probius bundle tonight, 2 of those thanks to the aforementioned Blizzard ANZ. So what we're going to do now is we're going to draw one of those. So our producer Crisis is going to shut off the first raffle, and we're going to pick one out of those. Hacky or Jim Jam are banned, and we're going to draw another one if you don't actually get your hands on one after this one. We're going to draw another one after the end of Game 5 as well. So congratulations to Bio from CSGO for following the stream since the 22nd of March. Congratulations, you win yourself the Probius bundle, and so the Hero and the Terran skin, thanks to Blizzard ANZ. We're going to open up the raffle again, so if you are anybody except Bio from CSGO, exclamation mark GS2Q into the Twitch chat again. So, yeah, get into it. Get your hands on it. Thanks to Blizzard. Thanks to GameStar. Thanks to everybody involved. Thanks to you, the audience. So right now, we are going to go to Dragonshire, and we're going to watch Ethereal Cat versus You're Off the Team. So for the last time tonight, I'm going to pass you back over to your faithful casters, Skimmy and Van.
Here we go, guys. Final game of the night for week number 3, round number 5. And yeah, as you mentioned already, Ethereal Cat up against You're Off the Team. Both of these teams have actually somehow managed to elude each other through week 1 and 2. But they're even Steven when it comes to the points. So no favoritism or no predictions so far as we jump into this game now, Vandy.
It's a clean slate, Skimmy. That just means that they can wow us tonight on one of our favourite maps, one of the staple maps of the scene, Dragonshire. What do you want to see in a map like this, Skimmy?
Well, I want to see a lot of pressure being really resolved around that top lane, and that's a good reason we can see here that Ethereal Cat are actually going to go to Dahaka ban, because he's one of those strong, solid all-round picks. And in the past, we've seen that. We've seen the same with the Fausted. We've even seen the same with the Ragnaros. So no surprises with them hovering that ban so far.
It just makes sense to get rid of the Dahaka early on. As we've seen, he can be such an imposing presence, and he can bring a lot of value to your team, as well as set you up for a nice, strong draft without giving away too many cards close to your chest. And in saying that as well, Skimmy, we saw a Cho'Gall come out last game. So ANZ tonight, it's all up for grabs. And with the last game, sometimes we can see some shenanigans come out as teams just sort of get a little bit more cheeky, a little bit more playful with what they want to roll with.
I think this has to be the most diverse week we've had so far, even in its complete entirety for the ANZ scene. In terms of what we've actually seen tonight, we've had a complete melee comp. We've had compositions run on maps where you'd think that would be better suited for other maps, and even like you touched on, the Cho'Gall. So when it comes to predictions, I mean, people always wonder, where does this meta stem from? Do we take great sort of influences and direction from other metas? Well, potentially, but to be quite honest, a lot of it is just what's comfortable and whatever people want to play, because Cho'Gall is definitely not being played anywhere else in the world.
No, definitely. I was trying to think back when we initially saw Cho'Gall. I couldn't really think of him in any recent games sort of aired, not in the HGC series. So yeah, like you said, that's purely coming down to a comfort pick and also a fun pick. These tournaments are for fun at the end of the day, so you might as well enjoy what you're doing. And Ragnaros, a nice strong pick to get things started off. There was an Alarak ban as well while we were talking, Skimmy, and is that a respect sort of ban? Is that a fear of Alarak from earlier on? He can do a lot of damage, but he's just generally not prioritized as a ban.
Alarak's a weird one, because, I mean, Alarak, generally speaking, is picked as a solo laner, and that must suggest that Ethereal Cat have a really good Alarak player. But, I mean, with Alarak being taken off, Ragnaros still being actually a strong pick, is an instant lock, and they're not concerned about that whatsoever. So, a bit interested to see what the reasoning was behind that. We had to actually ask them after the game is all said and done. But with Rag being locked in straight away, it does now give the rotation advantage to You're Off the Team, which could go for the tester. I like it. And with this in mind, they can then transition into an enabling comp. So we're talking the things like the Valet, the Greymane, Illidan, even the Tracer. Anybody like that. I believe this will be the first Tracer we've seen, or say the first Tassadar, sorry, we've seen tonight. But rather than locking in that carry, they're not too concerned what it might be. They're going to decide to go for that solid lane clear. With the Hark already off, they get the global in Falstead.
I really like what they're doing with their drafting now with You're Off the Team. It's very smart. Once again, something like Tassadar doesn't really say much, except for that you probably want to run a hyper carry and perhaps a support as well. And it sort of puts the ball back in the court of ECAT to say, all right, hurry up and pick your support. Otherwise, we've got the perfect synergistic combo for our Tassadar. So it sort of reveals another pick that otherwise perhaps ECAT wanted to delay till a little bit later.
I mean, this Falstead matchup, actually, he should have the win rate, or he should actually have the advantage, up against the Ragnaros, as long as he doesn't fight in the minion wave where Rag wants to be to get those Sulfurous quest stacks. And Falstead just simply outranges him, and depending on what he goes for at level 4, he should be able to out-sustain him as well. So, solid picks here, doesn't really give too much away. With the Tassadar being chosen, obviously Valor cannot be paired with that, so still have the option for the Greymane and the Tracer. I mean, Tracer, not the strongest pick for this map. I think we've seen it once in a blue moon, but Greymane definitely is a strong one when it comes to sieging potential, especially combined with the Dragon.
Greymane would actually fit their comp quite well, I think, with what he can sort of bring, that execution sort of style that he brings could pair off quite well with Falstad. As you said, the Tassadar, by picking him so early, it almost forced the Valor Malfurion to come out so early, as I was sort of saying before. As you said, there's no way that the Valor and Tassadar could go together. It's basically GG. You've sort of outpicked yourself in the draft. So really just forcing ECAT into perhaps something that they didn't even want to play in the beginning. Or I'm wondering what You're Off the Team strats are with this one.
Yeah, I mean, ECAT can obviously go with the Ragnaros as well as the Malfurion. That's pairing with the Root as well as the Sulfurous Smash with guaranteed damage. Not to forget that you got Valor there for the Rain of Vengeance if everything goes pear-shaped. So a bucket load of hard lockdown CC, especially AoE CC at that. But the bans that really come across, well, the ETC was a no-brainer. With that much CC, they can't afford to have something else to worry about. Because depending on how they want to actually draft this, if they do go for that Greymane, depending on their tank choice, it leaves them with very few interrupts to prevent all this happening. The interesting ban really from ECAT is what they're currently hovering. They're hovering a Nubrak, which wouldn't really spring to mind for me, but this potentially suggests that they're going to be running a lot of either squishy assassins in the back line or just terrified of the damage.
Could be the damage, or as you said, mages or skill shots, because a Nubrak can shut down both, being an anti-mage as well as the Beetles, soaking up a lot of skill shots. So whether the Li Ming's going to come into play, it's good that they're waiting to see what You're Off the Team are playing and then going to, I guess, adjust and adapt accordingly. And if you're Off the Team, so far you've just shown your damage, essentially. As you said, they still need to lock down a warrior out of the pool that's left. So we've got 3 tier 1 warriors sort of taken off the board with ETC. Nubrak, I'm not quite sure if he's yet in tier 1. He has seen a lot more play. It just depends. He's still situational. But Arthas is still on the board. Instead, they've opted for the Diablo, All Faithful, his Apocalypses.
I mean, the Rhaegar seemed like a given, an absolute given when you've got that and the Tassadar. The Diablo's an interesting one. I mean, the Diablo has a lot of lockdown, has a guaranteed combo with the Overpower into the, with the Shadow Charge into the Overpower. It does really still go down that path of thinking this has to be a Greymane, potentially a Cursed Bullet Greymane, which kind of swings back to when we had the old variant where you go for the charge taunt. That's a person that's locked in for absolutely, 2.5 seconds. It was a guaranteed Cursed Bullet. And, you could actually one-shot somebody in that one stun taunt combination. So slight differences, but potentially what they're trying to run here with the Diablo, they're going to leave that carry to the very last pick, but I would have to go for the Greymane. But really all up to ECAT now, how they want to finish this thing out here. You've touched on the Li Ming, potentially why they ban out that Nubrak, but they need a tank. They go for the Meridian, and they do go for Li Ming, so you called it.
Exactly. I mean, it just sort of showed that by banning out the Nubrak, they definitely wanted to run a mage, and they wanted to give whoever that mage was sort of freer reign to do magely things. And then with now You're Off the Team, they need to just fill out their last role, whether it be with another assassin or perhaps they'll go a bruiser as well. I'm just thinking who I'd like to see to sort of finish off this comp. Zarya is still on the board, and she could actually work quite nicely with Tassadar in soaking in, allowing Falstad to be a hyper carry, but I don't know if Falstad has enough damage to sort of carry it all out by himself. He's not, I guess, as hyper carry as Valor is. So that could be a risky play, as we were sort of touching on in one of the earlier games. Sometimes by putting all your eggs into that one basket, it can go against you.
I mean, Diablo does do a sizable amount of DPS for a tank, but I feel like if you pick up the Zarya, you're really sort of limiting your damage. You're saying, cool, we can survive for a very long time, but hey, it doesn't really achieve too much yet. They do finally lock in the Greymane, whether or not they were thinking of other options. It seems so right for that Greymane to be locked in. So both of these drafts looking pretty impressive. Obviously, very different directions. One looking to try and lock down a target. This is kind of very reminiscent of what Nomi have done in the past, right? On the side of ECAT, they go for the Ragnaros as well as the Li Ming. Plenty of wizardry damage, looking just to collapse upon one member that gets stunned, and that person gets popped.
There you go, Bob's your uncle. And with you're off the team, that Greymane, I didn't want to say it because we harped on it so much. I was just tossing out other options, but I'm glad to see Skimmy. We've definitely don't have Caster Curse tonight, and we actually sort of figured what they were going with each team, which direction they wanted to take.
It's kind of like playing puzzles, but on your computer and broadcasting it to an audience so then they can all laugh at you if you get it wrong.
Hopefully they're not laughing too much, because I think we've done a fairly good job. And you're off the team, they're needing to play it, I guess, all around that Diablo. As you said, he can be the initiator. He needs to lock down, get in their faces for ECAT, as well as just enable his Greymane and Falstad to start carrying. But Tassadar is going to assist a lot with that as well, I feel, especially paired with the Rhaegar, to give them really a lot of that extra survivability.
I think if we talk about lane matchups, like I already said, between the Falstad and the Ragnaros, Falstad should have that win in that matchup. And in terms of ganking potential, if we're looking at who would be there to actually gank with, I think it'd be Diablo that'd be coming up to try and really abuse the fact that there is no mobility on the Ragnaros. So as long as that blast wave is down, and even if it's not, they can still try and set up some kills and even just bully that person out of the lane. But let's jump into the teams themselves. Let's kick it off on the right-hand side. It is starting with Curiosity. It's going to be Muradin, Sorelli on Ragnaros, Moondruid is on Li Ming, Chrysometer is on Vala, and Dark Trees is on Mouth.
And ECAT, blue team, we've got... oh, sorry, you did blue team. Sorry, we've got... You're off the team, red team. We've got Tanner on Falstad, Jester on Greymane, Olgi on Diablo, Helium playing Rhaegar, and Painling on Tassadar.
Painling is on Tesla. It's already gone for the Psy Infusion at level 1, suggesting Archon and big numbers, and level 20 scariness, where he is infinitely in power. Infinite power. But there we go, Curiosity with the Stormbolt, trying to get a stun on towards Tanner. Does not connect this time, but all G, he wants to be all good. He finds a target, a crucial target at that. Got caught there with a scaling drone. Entangling roots is going to be enough to prevent the follow-up. Shield is coming across Curiosity, getting curious, getting damage as he gets chunked there by Jester's Greymane, who is going to chuck at the cocktail, but he has gone for a viciousness at level 1. So this is a bit of an adaptation that we've seen here, that instead of going for the extended range, they actually opt for the fact that the cocktail can extend that movement speed buff. So that's what they opt for, or even just the attack speed.
Definitely, and I remember you mentioning, perhaps it was last week or the week before, you were saying that it was starting to get favoured, this build, by Greymane players, where you just take that different direction. Instead of putting everything into Cocktail, you can actually extend your just auto-attack damage and make it more reliable instead of being so bursty.
That's a bit of an interesting adaptation by Chrysometer. He's gone for the Caltrops at level 1. You can see the impact it already had, because Rhaegar, Diablo as well as Greymane jumped in, got slowed down upon their arrival, and it was Rhaegar that I was touching on originally there, who got taken out as a result of all things said and done. Vala picking up first blood for ECAT. I
was looking at the Caltrops too, and I think a lot of what comes to mind as well is that Vala wants to be very nimble this time, looking at what she's up against. That Greymane going to be diving in, same as the Diablo. She's got a lot of heat that she needs to deal with, so she wants to make sure she's as nimble as possible once she completes that quest and gets that Vault cooldown reduced.
Here is the gank attempt up in the top, and then we're talking about it. This time it's actually going to be the Tassadar that comes in, which does a lot of juking, keeping herself alive, but not long enough. The shield was there, the dimensional shift was used as well. It's almost a bit of disrespect, and then Sorelli's just like, well, hey bro, if you want to stick around here, I'll just pick up a kill, cheers.
Sorelli feeling quite chuffed. Cool guys don't look at their explosion in the case of Ragnaros, and really there was no need for Tassadar to be hanging around there. They'd won the fight. You can back off now. As you said, perhaps a little bit of disrespect or overconfidence coming out, but whatever the case, it's still early days. He'll be back in no time with low cooldown times on the board.
And Chrysometer picks up another kill in the bot lane, and this variation on the build is one that I saw popularized by a Korean player, where you're looking for the resets. So when you get level 7, you get the Vault reset upon kill. That means basically you can just keep tumbling all day and every day. You can kill minions and keep vaulting in and finding immense movement that would otherwise not be possible. So see if he's got the macros, see if he's got the ability to play like a Korean overlord and wait for these talents to be acquired. But right now, it's Shenanigans in the bot lane. 4v4 action. Nobody even cares about soaking in the mid lane. Stun onto the minion. Not what you want to happen, but Jester is out of mana, so they might win the trade if one was to break out. He has gone for the back, but all the attention once again is in the top lane because both of these guys fighting over the shrine.
Crazometer doing some great micro there, Skimmy. You touched on it, whether his Korean skills were good enough. Oh, and that entangling root's getting Jesto. He's been trying to back for a while now, Skimmy, but they don't have enough damage to sort of collapse on. They know that they'll get stuck under the fort, and he could spell another tail altogether for them. So just playing the safe game, playing the harass game, really, in this bot lane.
Yeah, he breathes a big sigh of relief as he finally gets to go back to base, gather up his mana, gather up his health, and rock and roll as he comes back into the fold of things. And looking at the level 4 talents, Kalar's Light's actually being picked up here by Tesla, so looking to give some of her teammates some armor when that shield does expire. Generally speaking, you actually tend to see the movement speed picked up when you've got a Grey Man because it allows him just to jump into the fold of things, get even more hyper-aggressive, and get sticky with it, but has opted to give them some extra sustain and really sort of lighten the load that Rhaegar has.
Exactly right. And I do like, I guess, the way that he has sort of stacked with that armor talent coming in, and I'll just cut myself off because Muradin just got taken off, and that's left the Dragon Knight open for the taking, except they've just got no team members there, except for leading present with ECAT.
Yeah, Faust had actually rotated through to the mid lane and prevented that from being picked up as the skirmish broke out in the bot lane, allowing for that double shrine to then be switched around. So great awareness and great communication because this map is all about the rotations, but Witana being low on mana cannot actually contest that top shrine just for the meantime, and Sorelli knows it, so they're going to even out that balance in the lane flow, and then most likely Fausto going back to doing what he does best and being that lane bully.
Exactly right, and there are some sharp rotations happening that we can sort of see. Falstad's been using this flight to the best of his ability. Just to getting low, they've tested the shield, giving a little bit more sustain, but it's not enough. He does get taken out, and that turns the shrines to the favor of you're off the team.
Yeah, when you keep winning skirmishes like that, you just force things to happen, and once again, Falstad getting desperate, flies through to the mid lane, going for Moondrew. They do pick up the kill, so it is a great trade, and they committed for it, and they made sure the impact was acquired, but you know, Greyman's been getting a little bit caught out of position, unfortunately, so he needs to be a little bit more aware of his positioning, but the response from the rest of you off the team was good. They've given them a bit of breathing room, and once again, Faustad, or I should say Tanner, rocking back up to that top lane.
I like what you're off the team's done. They did leave Rhaegar there as sort of an insurance policy instead of sending both up to top lane. But Tanner now in a lot of trouble from Sarah being a huge bully. As you said, with no mana, it makes it so much harder to contest against Ragnaros.
Yeah, I mean, if you walk into his melee range, that's exactly where Ragnaros wants to party and play. He wants to get in your face. He wants to slam you with that hammer of his, and that will do a lot of work. I mean, he's already completed the quest, so already amplified by an extra 100 damage. Oh, gee, I mean, is he going to be all good? He's been caught out in a position on the wrong side. Shield is on top of him. Jester rocking up. He's got the heals from Helium, but he gets stunned out. Is it going to be still the case? No, the cleanser's used. Moonfire trying to be coming across. Does not matter. The shield is good enough from the Painling. And it does keep them up a little bit longer, but they're having an extremely rough time in this bot lane, Vandy.
I'm genuinely surprised that he walked away from that. That was so close, and it really just came down to, I guess, some of his talents as well as his teammates helping him out. It shows how tanky Diablo can be. In Curiosity now, he's picking up that Dragon Knight completely uncontested, so the first Dragon Knight will, in fact, go to ECAT.
With all the shenanigans that have been happening in the bot lane, it's been putting a bit of a rough time here for the Faust, that's going to be rotating from mid to top, and with his health pool and mana pool being pretty depleted, he's lost that ability to actually out-bully what Ragnaros was doing, and that's allowed ECAT to now pick up the very first dragon. It's going to be Muradin that's inside it, so it does limit their engage potential slightly, but he's going to find that value, as you normally do, through the mid lane. Double tower's gone, exposing that full. Whether or not they stick around. Another 30 seconds still on that one. Dragon is still rather healthy. He's actually, for the meantime, delaying it, waiting for this minion wave to come on through. But Tanner does get very aggressive from the backline, finding Chrysometer, who gets chunked upon. Strafe is being used. Healing is coming across. There goes the overgrab at the very last second. They do pick up the kill. They make it work. The shield comes across, and the gust for the insurance. But suddenly, Painley goes, I've got other ideas up my sleeve. Popping the Archon, wants to start the party, wants to get some damage across the ball, but the rest of your after team just cannot find the opportunity for it, and a wasted cooldown if anything.
I loved that elegant gust by Tanner there after they got the kill. As you said, insurance policy, ensuring that he was signaling to his team, okay, the fighting's done, let's regroup, let's not get any more losses. I know Painling to pop Archon, perhaps to assert his dominance over what was happening in the map, but they played that one quite well, very, very good, and Cyrile's going to fall here with a double gank happening from Jester and All G. You say Ethereal was not all G.
He was not all G indeed, and that's what I wanted to see as this game happened. You know, Diablo is definitely going to be one that's quite scary. If you beat him in lane, he'll just punch you into that wall, and you get stunned for a long time. But it was going to be the Grayman that rocks up with him. Fausted having other plans of his own right there, and with that in mind, they can now actually go for the mercenary camp, get the reset, and get that lane pressure, because right now they're a level down, Vandy.
They definitely need to make up some experience happening right there. It's not enough where we're sort of worrying, but they are going to be losing out on hitting that all-important level 13 talent quicker than ECAT. So ECAT has the advantage here, Skimmy, but whether they're going to use it will be another thing, because at the moment they're also content to take out their Merc camps and just sort of leave the push to themselves, but maybe looking to cause Tacita a little bit of strife here and get him out of that lane.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to even up the balance in their top lane by picking up their own night camp, and as a result, they can now rotate with the 13 advantage, even for as little as it's going to be before level 13 is acquired by your off the team. But in looking at these talents, the interesting option here is the glass cannon being picked up by Li Ming. We see it time and time again when people are going for these all builds. They want to stick back and they want to try and stay safe. The thing is, if they do get jumped upon, Grayman is absolutely going to shred you, so you need to be so scared of your positioning and so aware of where people are at any time. But Gus coming out here from Tenno, beautiful stuff here. The effort, not really finding too much value. The cleanse coming out onto Muradin, followed by the Twilight Dream to prevent OG making things happen there. And Jester is once again caught in a really unfortunate situation, but he does manage to get away. OG jumping in, almost like he's trying to prevent the death going on through. Does he get the souls available? He does. He can come up in 4 seconds, but Vala is the one traded out. Whoa, Muradin does somehow, some way jump out to safety, and it is a 2-for-1 in favour of ECAT with the level advantage, but the Diablo is ready to start rocking back in. He's coming back to the lane, they're trying to make things happen, they've got the double shrines, Vandy, and Ragnaros is ready there to cap it.
I think we could see another Dragon Knight go in favour of ECAT, except Diablo's going to try stall his fire. Oh, it didn't connect, Skimmy!
He didn't have the geometry, the math wasn't there with the lines. Unlucky.
So unlucky, because it was just the tip of it, and it could have stalled enough for his team to get in on and sort of delay it a bit longer, but that's alright. We've seen another Dragon Knight go in favour of ECAT, and with this they're looking to put a lot of pressure either on the keep or rotate to that bottom exposed fort.
In they're in a great position right now in terms of the fact that they can suddenly hit level 16. If they pick up this fort in the bot lane, they're going to only be a little bit off, a little bit shy of that. And Fausted, I mean, they've got the global pressure on their side, but they're behind, and that's not usually a familiar situation. But here, they're going to try and force something, and they do! Beautiful Gus from the back end there by Tenno, picking up 1 kill, make that 2 as Grayman goes on towards Li Ming. And that's what we talked about, the squishiness of that glass cannon is going to bite you in the back and triple kill. Secure the deal with Sorelli being in the Dragon. They can force things. They're not concerned of the Sulfurous Smash. They're not concerned of the burst impact. And now they even look to try and take out the Dragon, but that is a sort of even that they need to find before 16 was picked.
That was such a textbook perfect Mighty Gus. 3 squishies into the opening arms of You're Off the Team. They just instantly all pounced onto them, took them out of the equation. And that's what they were trying to do in the team fight before against this bottom wall where Fausted was trying to Mighty Gus them into the Apocalypse. It almost worked, but with no reward. This time they got the reward, and like I said, necessarily in that Dragon Knight, there wasn't much ECAT had left to sort of deal with the threat coming from You're Off the Team.
I just love the play that was made there by Tenno, saying, look, you know, we're behind. We should technically be ahead with this global advantage that, you know, ECAT don't have. He forced a play. He made something happen. And you'll find that a lot of times teams are actually scared when the objective is controlled, be it the Garden Terrier or even the Dragon. You know, oh, we shouldn't fight because that's such a strong objective. But if the Dragon disappears from the rest of the team and the rest of the team don't follow hot suit, then hey, there's a fight for the picking, and they made sure that was the case. 16-16 now, we're all even. Steven kills are across the board. Same sort of gig again, the Gus coming across, and the A-pot connecting on the tank, as well as the support. Ice block at the very last second, 50 health on him, but no chance for a cleanse to come across this time. Mouth is popped, he's gone. And look at that, Sorelli actually steals their structure. They go into the Molten Core, flinging damage from their back end. They can't even retreat. They had to just keep pressing forward now. You're off the team, going straight ahead, saying, look, we can outrange this Ragnaros. And they pick up another kill. But now they say, where is that Ragnaros? Where is he gone? He's gone around the backside. He's been so sneaky, and he lives to fight another day.
That was a literal exit stage left by Ragnaros. He was like, well, this is put me in an awkward situation. I need to go now. And he did. He exited quite nicely. But I'm getting so impressed by Tanner's Gus, as you said, Skimmy. He's really setting up the plays that his team needs, especially in conjunction with that Diablo. We've seen some sort of synergistic matches up with ETC and Jaina being one, as well as now we're seeing the Faustad and the Diablo be such a great team working together to sort of get those really, really advantageous team fights in favor of your off the team.
These last two Gasters we already talked about have really set the pace for this game and really put your off the team back into the mix of things. But what I'm looking to try and see, we talked about the amount of synergy they have between the Muradin, the Mouth, as well as the Rag. We haven't actually seen that big wombo combo yet. And, you know, you definitely can't discredit that because that does bring a lot of impact in its own right. But with that in mind, your off the team are now ahead. They're soon to be level 18 and they're going to be an exchange of the temples as Shrine is picked up by ECAT in the top lane and Shrine is picked up by your off the team in the bot lane. A trade in terms of mercenaries as well, with arguably ECAT getting the benefit of it because it's actually locked up Faustad for the meantime.
Faustad busy dealing with, I guess, that night camp up the top there, making sure that no camp is getting left unchecked because, as you said, if that camp is left unchecked, it could sort of expose their keep, and there's nothing that they want, but he is also getting a sneaky cap. Tanner is also so aware of the map. He knows he needs to clear that, but at the moment, the priority of taking the Shrine back and keeping that all-important Dragon Knight spawning for ECAT was definitely his top priority. So
the
really
big thing though, Vandy, they're going to be so hyper-aware of the fact that Faust actually had to use flight to go to that temple, to go to that Shrine, sorry. So down for 30 seconds, and you can see there that ECAT really wanted to force the fight. They knew that was a big cooldown that was done. They knew they could have, you know, a big, say, 10-15 second window before Faust would be there to respond. So it was great disengage by you off the team to make sure they didn't get caught.
They know exactly what they need to play. If Flight's down, then you have to make sure that they're playing very defensively. If Flight is up, they can play as defensively as they like because there's probably going to be another Gust waiting to set things up for them. And as I said, with those last two big Gust plays, it really did propel your off the team from being a level behind, putting them in front. So that one more will really sort of secure that lead and get them that much closer to getting 20 before ECAT.
Faustad is still pushing. You can see almost a bit of desperation from ECAT saying, we need to force, let's get a kill, let's make sure this works. Because right now it's a 5v4 and Faustad won't have enough range to get here directly. He'll have to still have a bit of travel time for it. I was actually wondering if they're going to pick this up and actually force the fight by going into Molten Claw and just trying to siege by escorting these in. Right now, Sully's deciding not to do that. He's deciding just to hang on to it for a little bit longer. But I would actually quite like it as a play because it was keep them back, keep them stuck in there and, you know, make something happen.
You can definitely see what's going through Tank's like, I'm just going to push as long as I can until they sort of leave you guys alone. You tell me when they've backed off. But ECAT, as you said, they can play it one of two ways. They can continue to be really aggressive. I mean, those Leeming Orbs is making short work of their base, but they're not really in a position where they can engage comfortably yet. They're still hesitating.
I mean, the thing is right now, they're getting the double soak. That's the reason they're ahead. And you can only see that Vala's actually started to capitalize onto this and go, well, hey, we should be double soaking. And Faustad has no threat. Tanner is actually completely safe up there because there's no global pressure. So as long as the rest of the team have eyes on where this ECAT squad is, he can just play as aggressively as he likes. Eventually, they decide to back away. 20 was required. They've lost their opportunity to try and force the fight. And Tanner has done his work. So expect to see him group on up now, try and make something happen, and become even more annoying because he's got epic mount at level 20.
This is what they wanted. They wanted 20, and now they're saying, ECAT, come and fight us because you don't have 20. That's all Tanner was working towards. And now a Death Knight being picked up by you're off the team. They're going to want to capitalize as best they can with it. Really feeling that power spike.
Absolutely. I mean, the out rotations there on the side of you off the team really paying dividends. And as a result, this is a 17-minute Dragon Knight that's going to be able to say, well, I can start pushing towards your keep. Let's try and make something happen. And, you know, we've seen the team fighting coming out from them so far. It's been impressive. They've been able to set up stuff with the Gust, with the movement speed slow. Oh, Sorelli actually jumping in there. I don't know if he actually saved the fort, but he definitely still managed to get the channel off. Entangling Roots comes across, locking in the Dragon. It is down to 20%. It has a lot of time left, but it doesn't really find too much value because they're doing work towards it. Painling forced to back away. Meanwhile, actually, let's take a quick pause. The Golems on the side of the ECAT are still pushing, but there goes the Gust. They're going to look to make things happen again. Beautiful cleanse. Getting Curiosity out of things. They're trying to collapse onto Diablo, but he's got cleanse as well. Jumping away, Painling. This is when it gets frustrating. Infinite Archon. He is not scared. He is chunked, but he's looking for a target to hit. He's actually not going to be infinite. He's absolutely played himself.
He's just popped it too early. And like you said, that minion camp down in the bottom, it was the Mercamp, it was just pushing so hard while all of that was going, but really they didn't need to be worried. The front of their base has already been gone. It's just the keep that they're worrying on, and really it wasn't anywhere near it yet. They had time to have that team fight or a bit of that kerfuffle, because really nothing really happened. They did sort of try to go in, and then both teams disengaged when they saw it wasn't going to go sort of their way. So much restraint coming out of both of them.
And he has now been picked up, Vandy, by ECAT, which, if we take a look at the options they've gone for, they have gone for the Storm Shield, so opting for that instead of the Bolt of the Storm. So now really going to have to rely on his positioning here to not get caught out there and make sure that he can cleanse the target that's going to be focused. But Far Flight Quiver, a great option for Valor, giving her extended range so she can stay safe and keep pumping out the AA damage for the resets. Temporal Flux, looking for the slow, trying to slow things down, catch a member out, and get as much value out of that disintegrate as possible. But in the meantime, this is where the action is. The rotations from ECAT are crisp, and they're looking to take at this keep, which was begun. But there goes the Gust once again. The marriage Gust, as I'm seeing in chat, they are making it happen. He gets called out by the root. It's so good. They're going to go for the fight now. It's 1 for none. They go in with the ancestral. It doesn't matter. Vandy, have they suddenly just thrown? I think they have. There's nothing available. Archon isn't up for another 10 seconds. Diablo has popped. He does have Archon. But just like that, the two main carries are gone out of the fold. They're onto the core. It's 19 minutes in. That core is going to drop. And there's nothing that these three members can do right now. They need to force a big one. They're going to go for the Molten Core. Rag is going to see what they do, swiping with his hammer. And he takes out Rhaegar. They're on the core. It's down to 50. Here comes the Archon. Is it enough? Apop is coming in through. 30% on the core. All G is dead. He has no souls remaining. It is literally painting the world. Dimensional shift at 5 health. And that is a game in favor of ECAT. Wow.
Wowee, what a game. Snuck under there by ECAT right there. What a game, Skimmy. That was crazy to see, because really it all came down to them wising up to Tanner's tricks. They're like, all right, if he's going to do the offensive Gust, Moondruid was waiting. He was on the flanks waiting. He got his full combo off on Tanner, who had flown in, making him a sitting duck, and really just spelled disaster right after that for You're Off the Team. So close to their base as well.
It shows you how the momentum, or how things can unfold so quickly with one failed play. And unfortunately, you know, the Gust was there. It was set up so perfectly, like so many others before them. But the entangling route to catch him, to kill him, and to set up other mentionable kills really did turn the fight in their favor. But let's talk about the final MVP of this one, Vandy. Who did it have to go to?
I think without a doubt, in my eyes, it would have to go to Tanner. They did lose the game, but those Gusts were so on point. His positioning as well was really impressing me. The flight, the map awareness, Tanner just played it so well in my eyes. And sort of honorable mentions do go out to Moondruid as well for that last fight, and as well as All G for doing some great Diablo apocalypses. So yeah, those are my ones, Skimmy, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I was actually going to give an honourable mention to Sorelli, because I actually really liked that one time he did the Molten Core behind him, saying you can't walk back, you have to keep pushing forward. And the fact that he got out, that for me was the icing on the cake, so to speak. But I mean, we cannot understate the Fausted play enough. I mean, the fact that those Gusts were finding so much value, they're actually able to push for as long as possible and find themselves getting a lead in the game. Unlucky at the end there, but I had to definitely agree with you there, Tanner for MVP.
Oh, well, congrats, Tanner. You may have lost the game, but you won MVP, so that's something to hold on to.
Well, there you go, guys. That's week number 3, all said and done, with ECAT taking a victory here for the final game of the night. But for now, and for the rest of the week, pass you back to Kev.
Thank you very much, Skimmy and Vandy, for not only that amazing match, but an amazing night of Heroes of the Storm here on GameStar TV. Just going to recap the results quickly. In round 1, Trump Sports defeated Leighton Hewitt Fan Club on Infernal Shrines. In round 2, we went to Battlefield of Eternity, where City Walk defeated Onyx United. In round 3, we saw Nomiya defeat P5 on Sky Temple. Round 4 was Tomb of the Spider Queen, where the Techno Wolves went up to Bird Punchers, and the Bird Punchers come out with the win with an amazing Cho'Gall player, which actually picked up the MVP as well. Well done, Holy Grail and Charlotte. And that game was Ethereal Cat taking the win over You're Off the Team on Dragonshire. And what a game it was. Thanks to everybody who's been involved in this production tonight. Thanks to the sponsors and, of course, the audience. But we have got the raffle to draw the Probius bundle, thanks to Blizzard ANZ. So exclamation mark GS2Q into the Twitch chat if you haven't done so already. Bio from CSGO won the first one. Will it be you the second time? So the producer is going to now shut off the raffle in the Twitch chat, and we're going to draw it any second now. Very, very soon. And if you haven't done so already, we're going to be giving away the Deluxe Machines of War bundle as well. Well done to Humphrey the Bear for picking up the Probius bundle, thanks to Blizzard. So well done to Bio from CSGO and Humphrey the Bear. Contact GameStar TV1 on Discord, I believe, Crisis. We want you to contact on Discord. GameStar Crisis on Discord. So our GameStar Discord, which is in the Twitch. So once again, thank you to the audience. Thank you to the teams. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to the production. We had Skinny on play-by-play. We had Vandy on analyst. Crisis was the producer. Evexium was the community manager, assisted by Grumpshot tonight as well. Special mention to Grumpshot. And my name was Kit Fox. Thank you so much for the pleasure of your company. We've got 2 more weeks to go here on the official ANZ qualifiers for Season 2. We're going to count the best 4 weeks, don't forget. So 1 week will not count, but same time, same place next week here. GameStar TV, 8 p.m. GG's, and good night.